Hello, and welcome to Nuts About Baseball, a podcast that will entertain you with discussions involving everything baseball. I'm your host, Joe Grimme, and I appreciate you joining me. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as I share my passion for the sport we call America's pastime. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Nuts About Baseball. I am your host, Joe Grimme, and I am here with head coach of the Highlands Varsity Softball team, Milt Horner. Milt, thanks for coming back to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
You have been here before. We've talked several times, and it's always a joy to interview you. You've got great insight. You've got so much experience, not only with this program, but in sports in general. And so you're a great mind to listen to, and I'm going to get right into it. What a season. Highlands softball team just came off the regional championship. You currently have a 33-6 record overall, I believe, and a 15-0 record in the region. How special was this season? We'll get into some of these individual games, but tell me about the season overall so far.
The season's obviously been very good. Certainly one of the most successful seasons that we've had. We have 4 seniors who are all going to be playing in college. And after the tough end to last season, we doubled down. And to their credit, they bought into everything that we did and prepared themselves for this season.
And obviously it worked. Is there anything in the offseason, like you said, coming off that tough ending from 2025, is there something that you said to these girls either at the end of that season or the beginning of this that you think really helped them focus to turn around just a spectacular team effort this year?
Similar to what most coaches would say. After the game, we said, look, you know how winning feels and you know how losing feels. And winning feels a whole lot better. So we're going to ask you to do some things differently this year in order to – we didn't create enough margin for error last year. So one of the things we did is we significantly upgraded our expectations of them in the offseason. Sean Zitt, who's the strength and conditioning coach at Highlands, is absolutely fantastic. We put together a 3-day-a-week weightlifting routine that we started in August.
Okay.
And continued through really when the season started. It's hard in baseball and softball to do much lifting during the season because you're playing so often.
Sure. Is that something different that you haven't done in the past?
We've done some lifting, Joe, but nothing as intense as we did this year. Our primary fundraiser was a lift-a-thon.
Okay.
And the girls really bought into that. We have 28 girls in the program, and many days we'd have 20 girls lifting.
Wow.
So we changed around a few of the things that we did with hitting. Our defense was good last year. We didn't do a whole lot different with defense. And probably the other thing that we did is I significantly upgraded the schedule. If you believe RPI, which I think is a fairly indicative measure of the strength of schedule, we played the 7th hardest schedule in the state.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. And turned around a 33-6 record, which is pretty spectacular.
Yes. The girls, we played we went to Florida this year, played 5 games, and we lost 3 in a row to Assumption, who won state last year, Mercy, who we almost beat, and then Oldham County, who's in the tournament. And I thought, okay, did I overcook this schedule? We were 7-5 after that. We won our last game down there, and we won 26 of the last 27 games, I think. And the game we lost, Caitlin was home throwing up. So I think we would have had a good chance to win that game if she's there.
Yeah. Well, you bulked up strength-wise. I didn't expect to go down this road this soon, but I looked at the team statistics. Your leading home run hitter was Peyton Brown, senior, with 9, but then nobody else, I don't think, had more than 2. Is that right?
That's correct.
Is this small ball season, or what's the story there? I'm not, well versed on softball as much as I am with baseball, but not much power, even though you did hit the weights a little bit in the offseason.
Well, we love to think of ourselves as an extra base hitting team. If you look at the number of doubles we had a bunch.
Okay.
We have a lot of speed. A couple girls hit their first ever home runs this year. In fact, I think 3 of them hit their first ever home runs this year.
Nice.
So of the seniors, Peyton's really the only home. Well, I think Caitlin had a couple last year, but we're really not a home run hitting team. But if you increase your strength, the line drives into the gap tend to get in all the way into the gap rather than falling short.
You clearly had a lot of those because the batting averages are spectacular. Leading the team is senior Cam Marcus at 482. Just behind her is a sophomore, Layla Zepf, at 472. And then another sophomore, Kate Class, at 424. Coming into the season, did you see those two sophomores as being such contributors from the batting standpoint?
Layla, this is her third year starting. She's played second base as an eighth grader and shortstop as a freshman. She's worked incredibly hard. She plays on a high-level travel team, and we were expecting her. We moved her into the leadoff spot, and she has not disappointed at all. So I expected her to do very well. Kate has improved dramatically. She didn't really start playing softball till she was in seventh grade, and she's improved leaps and bounds. She's worked really hard. She had the key hit against Notre Dame last year to win that semifinal game to get us into the finals, and she just continues to make progress. So I really did expect a lot more out of both of them. We have a really good sophomore class. You throw her cousin Bailey Class in. Catherine Heilman is now the starting first baseman, also a sophomore, and we have a couple other sophomores that come off the bench. So that's a really strong class.
Absolutely. Well, as I mentioned, Peyton led the team with home runs. She also led the team with 52 RBIs, but also with over 30 were both Cam Marcus and Layla Zepf. You spread it out. The whole team from top to bottom seems to always contribute, and there's a lot of players with a lot of hits and a lot of RBIs.
In order to win the games that we won against teams like Ballard, against teams like West Jessamine, that are in the close losses we had against Harrison County, Mercy, and Assumption, you really got to get contributions from everywhere. Against Connor in the first round of the region, toughest draw we could have had. They're probably the second best team in the region. Sophomore Bailey Class hit a home run in this third inning to get us on the board, and that was absolutely huge. So we've had definite contributions from the bottom of the lineup. Catherine Heilman got down a two-strike bunt against Ryle and beat it out to load the bases in our second big inning last week. So we've gotten a lot of contributions from the bottom of the lineup.
Yeah, you beat Connor 3-1 in the first round of the regional tournament. As you mentioned, Class and Heilman each had an RBI. And Caitlin Dixon, we'll get to her specifically here in a minute, but she pitched a complete game, only gave up 4 hits and had 15 strikeouts. How was Connor this year?
They have they have a mix of experience and young talent.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had 5 seniors who had played a lot. Sean is a really good coach.
Yeah, sure.
And I know he's going to get the best out of his girls. I coached with him for 5 years at Highlands when he was the JV coach in the mid-teens.
Okay.
So we know each other well. Like I said, he's certainly going to get the best out of his girls. And he had a good game plan. A young pitcher, managed to do a good job with some screwballs inside, got a lot of pop-ups. But Caitlin was Caitlin. And yeah. when she's on, it's really tough. She had a .71 ERA, and she didn't do that against lesser teams. She gave up 1 run to Assumption. She gave up 1 run to Mercy. She gave up 1 earned run to Harrison County. She gave up 1 run to Ballard. So that was not an ERA earned against girls that weren't up to her caliber.
Yeah. Move to the next round. You beat Notre Dame, who's always a challenge and is always going to be on the radar to potentially win the region. Morgan Pompilio, a senior, had 2 hits and 2 RBIs. Another senior, Peyton Brown, as I mentioned, had 2 hits. And then again, Caitlin Dixon, dominant on the mound, only giving up 1 hit and 14 strikeouts. Tell me about that game.
Notre Dame pitcher who actually pitched last year actually came and pitched batting practice for us this morning, which was really nice for her to do. Abby Turnpaw.
How about a shout out to her?
Definitely. Great thanks to Abby, and she's had a decent freshman year in college.
Nice.
And based on the changeup she threw today, I think her college career is going to go very well. So they had a pitcher who didn't have a whole lot of experience, but Lucy Dillon did a really fine job against us, holding us to 6 runs. We'd scored a couple more than that during the season against her. When you get to Thomas More Field there, runs are not easy to come by. The center field is deep, and outfielders can make plays. We hit a bunch of balls that might have been on a smaller field, off the wall or something. But she did a good job holding us down. And again, people probably get tired of hearing me say this. Caitlin was Caitlin. And they lost a lot of experience from last year. So again, when Caitlin is on, it's really tough for girls without a lot of experience to make solid contact against her.
Sure. The bats increased even more in the championship against Ryle. You beat them 9-2. Peyton Brown had 2 hits and 3 RBIs. Layla Zepf had 2 walks, 3 stolen bases, and 3 runs. And yeah, it sounds like a broken record, but deservedly so. Caitlin had a complete game, 4 hits, 2 runs, but both of them were unearned, according to KHSAA, and another 15 strikeout performance, just dominant on the mound.
Yeah, she had 44 strikeouts in the region tournament, which is somebody could probably go back and figure out, if that's a record in the 9th region tournament. I'd have to think it is.
I agree.
But I don't know that anybody's going to go back and do that. And we didn't strike out one time in the region.
That's amazing, really.
So that was, when we've only got to make, I haven't done the math, 63 outs and 44 of them are strikeouts. That's pretty good. I mean, we play really good defense. We're solid at every spot and exceptional at a couple spots on defense. Peyton does a great job as a catcher, especially considering she's only been a full-time catcher for 2 years. So we make most plays. We did have a couple errors against Ryle, that one that led to those 2 runs. But this year, unlike last year, we scored enough runs to overcome that.
Well, let's get to Caitlin Dixon. 27-3 record this year. Like you said, a 0.71 ERA. Staggering 312 strikeouts. You said something earlier, when she is on. I mean, how often is she not on? Obviously, she lost 3 games this year, but my gosh, it's just amazing. She puts up what everybody calls video game numbers.
And she has, Joe. I mean, the 3 losses are 1-0 to Assumption, 3-2 to Harrison County, where we gave up 2 unearned runs, and 2-1 to Mercy, and the second run wasn't earned because it was 8th inning, and you start with the runner on second base, and that run doesn't count as an earned run. So basically, she gave up 1 earned run to those 3 teams in her 3 losses.
Yeah. Well, this sounds silly, but I don't know. There might be some credence in it. If you make an error in the field, I mean, these girls are kids, and while they're there and focused and ready to make a play, when Caitlin's striking 14 and 15 people out, it's rare that they get an opportunity to make a play. And I mean, could it catch them by surprise, and maybe they're not on their toes like there should be? Is that silly to say, or has that got any?
There's probably some merit to that. I mean, there's certainly some games where she wasn't striking. I think she struck out 6 or 7 against Ballard, and they're probably the best hitting team we faced all year. We made some plays on defense, but like I said earlier, we've got some girls. We're blessed this year with a bunch of girls. I have 21 years of starting varsity experience in my 4 seniors.
Wow.
And that's something that probably, again, I'm not going to say nobody else in the state has, but it'd be rare to have that 4 8th grade starters who stick together and continue to play and are starters as seniors.
Have each of them taken a leadership role, or is it 1 or 2 more than the others to help these younger girls be molded into the type of players that they've become?
We've been blessed over the past 5 years. We currently have 5 girls playing in college. All but one of the seniors that have graduated in the last 4 years have played in college, and they were really good leaders. Anna Greenwell, Michelle Barth, Bailey Marcus, Carly Kramer, and they learned from them.
Yeah.
Kenny Bione's the other one.
Sure, yeah.
And I think one of the things that's a little bit unique about softball in Kentucky, since 7th and 8th graders can play, and since there are not as many girls who play softball as a bunch of other sports,
mm-hmm.
If you can get contributions from middle schoolers and they get to experience varsity softball starting in 7th and 8th grade, and they can learn from the older girls, it really does help build a culture that can be continuous.
Yeah. Well, you have absolutely built a culture at Highlands, and it's thriving. That's for sure. You're a modest person. We spoke at the beginning of the year. I think you were a few games in. You're not coming into this season beating your chest, getting cocky, saying that you're the team to beat. But did you, deep down inside, have any idea how good you were going to be this year?
When I put together the schedule, I really put it together to afford them the opportunity to play tough games early, and throughout the season, but early, so they could have the experience of playing a tough game like we played against Connor and a tough game like we're going to play tomorrow. I knew we were good because the core of the team had won, the first regional championship of 22. Peyton was the only one who played.
Mm-hmm.
But the next couple, most of these girls played and contributed.
Yeah.
And so they were experienced like most teams just don't have that blessing to have that kind of experience. So I knew we'd be good, but I also wanted us to stay humble. And when you're playing Ballard and, Assumption and Mercy and West Jessamine and Great Crossing and Harrison County, you're not going to win those games by a bunch of runs and get overconfident.
Right.
We played Goshen. I think they did really well in this Ohio State tournament. We beat them 1-0. Caitlin pitched a great game. They had a really good pitcher. So we played some tough local teams too, from across the river.
By my account, you have not lost since April 24th. I don't certainly want to jinx you, but this season you've had 18 shutouts. Do you think this is one of the best teams you've ever seen come through Highlands?
The teams that won in the region in 2014 and 16, a class of 4 seniors as well.
Mm-hmm.
They were all really good. They all dabbled at playing in college. They didn't have the depth of roster that this team has. The bottom of the order was, so if Bailey Spencer was a really good pitcher, she didn't have Caitlin's numbers. Peyton has set career records at Highlands in almost every offensive category. We had a couple really good hitters in Shelby Grable and Brenna Dutcher. Haley Coffey was a great shortstop. Probably not quite as good a hitter as Layla is, but when you look at the bottom of our order, like you said, they've all contributed, and we did not get that kind of contribution from the bottom of the order in those 2 seasons. So realistically, overall, this is the deepest team we've ever had.
Okay. Your work's not done. As you mentioned, you play tomorrow, Thursday, June 4th at 10 a.m. against South Laurel. They, on paper, I don't know anything about them. They're 36-5, so clearly every team in this tournament has a chance to win it. What do you know about them?
They have a really good pitcher. He has a great ERA. They played some tough teams. If you look at their strength of schedule, they're in the 60 range, and we're in the 7. We're 7th. So I'm not sure they've played as many tough games as we've played. Located in Corbin, you don't have as many schools around you to play locally tough teams. So they'd have to travel a lot to play tough teams. They haven't been to the tournament since 2022, so we have a little bit of an experience factor. It is a little daunting when you walk on UK's field for the first time.
I bet.
So I'm hoping that our players are a little bit less intimidated, if you will, than their players are. But they are no doubt a really good team.
Sounds like maybe a low-scoring pitcher's duel.
That if I were betting, I'd bet that might be the case.
It should be a good one regardless of the outcome. Obviously, I'm pulling for the Highlands Bluebirds for many, many reasons. What have you done anything different this week to try to keep these girls grounded and ready to go, or are you just taking it business as usual and let's just take this one step at a time?
One of the things that happened with all the rain last week, the region was supposed to be completed on Wednesday, and we didn't play the semifinals until Thursday. So this week got compressed more than I would have liked it to get compressed. I gave them the weekend off because they played 2 intense games, and we've had relatively normal practices the last 2 days. And then, like I said, we had Abby come and pitch today. But the message is you guys have done all the work. You've played all the tough games. You are as prepared as any team, probably from Northern Kentucky for quite some time. I mean, if you go back to when Ryle won in 2006 with Kirsten Allen, they had an absolute dominant pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And 20 years ago, from 40 feet, the pitching rubber got moved back from 40 to 43 feet 15, 16 years ago. So if you had a 6'1" pitcher throwing from 40 feet, that was pretty intimidating.
I'd say so.
So they had a good team, but an absolute dominant pitcher who went to Oklahoma, by the way. So we're probably as prepared. There have certainly been some good teams from the 9th region that have gone down there and played, but this team has got the experience that no team since that Ryle team really had.
There's a lot to be said about experience. It's the old been there, done that factor, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, as always, I appreciate your time. You are a great person, a great coach, and have led these girls down a wonderful path. And I hope that you can finish the job getting through the state tournament and bringing something home to Northern Kentucky that hasn't been done at Highlands ever before, and that's a state championship.
Thanks, Joe. We appreciate the support. The community's done a good job behind us as usual, and hopefully we'll have a bunch of people come down there to cheer us on tomorrow.
Absolutely. Good luck with everything the rest of the way out.
Thanks, Joe.